Irritable bowel foods. If you eat them, you will not feel tired anymore. Content: symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. The best foods for nervous colon. Risk factors for irritable bowel syndrome. Did you know that you should constantly eat irritable bowel foods so that you feel comfortable and help yourself to treat irritable bowel syndrome and get rid of its permanent problems naturally and safely? Irritable bowel syndrome is one of the common disorders that affect the large intestine. Its symptoms include cramps, colon and stomach pain, bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation, or both. Irritable bowel syndrome is a chronic condition that needs to be treated in the long term. A small number of individuals with irritable bowel syndrome have severe symptoms, and some people can control irritable bowel syndrome symptoms by controlling diet, making lifestyle changes and reducing stress. Through this article, we will learn about some useful foods for the nervous colon. Symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. The symptoms and signs of irritable bowel syndrome vary from one person to another, but the most common symptoms are stomach pain and cramps or swelling that are often relieved by stomach movement, increased gas, diarrhea or constipation, and sometimes alternating cycles of constipation and diarrhea, mucus in the stool. You may be aware that there are a large number of foods that should be avoided when suffering from irritable bowel syndrome, but focusing on what should be avoided prevents us from knowing what we can eat, which may help improve irritable bowel syndrome. The best foods for nervous colon. 1. Lean meat. Lean meat consists mainly of protein and protein from easily digestible ingredients that are not fermented by stomach bacteria and converted into stomach gases that are not terrified. Thus, it is possible to eat any of the following foods mentioned without concern. White chicken meat, white turkey meat, some beef from the tenderloin, topping, eyes, and top. And the fatty parts may contain inflammatory fats or unhealthy toxins, and therefore dark chicken meat should be avoided. The only exception is if you can get a source for the animals that have been fed with weeds, as these animals are raised in appropriate conditions. 2. Eggs. Eggs are generally one of the foods that are easy to digest, and thus they are a safe option for people who suffer from irritable bowel syndrome. Eggs can be enjoyed, whether omelette or boiled. However, not all of our bodies deal in the same way with food. There are some bodies who are allergic to the protein found in egg whites, while there are other people who say that the high fats present in the yolk cause digestive problems for them. 3. Salmon and fish that contain omega-3. Omega-3 fatty acids play an important role as anti-inflammatories in the body, and since infections contribute to the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, increasing the intake of omega-3 acids helps to reduce them. Among the good sources of fish that contain omega-3 fatty acids are anchovies, black cod, salted fish, mackerel, rainbow trout, sardines, wild salmon, whitefish. 4. Nuts. Nuts are a good source of fiber, protein, and anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. And do not be fooled by the old saying that nuts increase body weight. In fact, nuts make you feel full after meals and thus reduce your snack intake. Although nuts contain unsaturated fats, they are healthy fats for the body, as they help to reduce the level of cholesterol, and that type of fat is good for the health of the stomach and thus beneficial for the nervous colon. Nuts can be eaten as they are or in the form of nut butter. Among those nuts are the following: almonds, limit 10 tonsils, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, limit 10 grains, macadamia, bigan, pine nuts, nut. 5. Grain. Among all types of pills, chia and flax seeds are among the most beneficial pills for people with irritable bowel syndrome, especially if it is accompanied by constipation. Both chia seeds and flax seeds are good sources of fiber, in addition to omega-3 fatty acids. It can be put on salad, oats, or added to samosa, but flax seeds must be ground first before use. And for light pills, the following types of pills are also useful: pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. 6. Fermented food. Fermented food is food manufactured in a way that makes it contain natural chains of probiotics, which are these beneficial bacteria. You can add some of the following foods to your diet: fermented drinks from kefir and kombucha tea, fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and kimchi, yogurt without adding sugar. 7. Bone broth. Several centuries ago, bone broth made from meat or fish bones was a staple of the human diet. The homemade broth seemed to enjoy some interest, due to the aroma, which says that the nutrients present in the broth are beneficial for the health of the stomach and intestinal lining. Despite the lack of research, we cannot deny the usefulness of warm soup for relieving irritable bowel syndrome. Low-carb short-chain vegetables, FODMAP. Often people with irritable bowel syndrome tend to avoid eating vegetables because they worsen their symptoms. But vegetables are very beneficial for the health of the stomach, and thus they are beneficial for the nervous colon. You can start by increasing your intake of vegetables that cause gas and bloating. Among those vegetables that can be eaten: pepper, broccoli, carrots, celery, corn, half a cup, eggplant, fennel, green beans, parsley, parsnip, potato, green onions, green parts only, beeting, sweet potato, tomatoes, drew, water chestnut, zucchini. 8. Fruits are low in carbohydrates, short smooth. Like vegetables, fruits contain many nutrients that are beneficial for the health of the stomach, and thus they are beneficial for the nervous colon. But there are some fruits that may worsen the condition of the nervous colon, and therefore it is necessary to choose fruits that contain short-chain carbohydrates. Likewise, it is not necessary to eat a large amount of fruits once or within one day, otherwise you may impede the body's ability to absorb sugar from fruits without fermenting them. Avocado, banana, berries, cantaloupe, grapes, cantaloupe, kiwi, lemon, lime, orange, olives, tangerine, papaya, pineapple, strawberry. When to see a doctor. A doctor should be visited if changes in stomach movement or other symptoms of irritable bowel persist. Among the more serious signs of irritable bowel syndrome that may indicate problems such as colon cancer, weight loss, diarrhea at night, rectal bleeding, iron deficiency, unexplained vomiting, difficulty swallowing, constant pain that is not relieved by the removal of gases or by moving the stomach. Risk factors for irritable bowel syndrome. Many people develop some symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome from time to time, but you are more likely to have irritable bowel syndrome if you young age, as the irritable bowel syndrome affects individuals under the age of 50 years. Women, as irritable bowel syndrome is more common among women. If there is a family history of irritable bowel syndrome, suffering from mental health problems,